And David, looking at the investment opportunities in the markets at the moment, there's a lot of discussion, there's a lot of people who've raised money to invest in the coming distressed debt market. Is that something that you also see potential opportunities in?
Yeah, potentially, but we're not there yet.
Right.
We have not yet begun purchasing distressed debt. Actually, we're finding lots to buy. Things are getting cheap. There are good things to buy. We're finding them particularly in Europe. I think there's a fair amount of European companies with very clean balance sheets. Maybe they have a little bit of headwind from the currency and so forth. Maybe they'll earn a few percent less than they were supposed to, but the market there has really gotten pummeled.
Right.
And for example, we own a company called Arkema, and it's trading at 3.5 times EBITDA. And their global closest competitor is Roman Haas, which is in the United States, which is being bought out for about 9.5 times next year's EBITDA.
Right.
So we can buy substantially a less levered, I think safer company at about a third of the value. And that kind of opportunity, that seems pretty good to me.
Right. And you still regard distressed debt as kind of corporate distressed debt rather than including, for example, structured finance or CDOs, mortgage-backed securities. There seems to be a much broader range of potentially distressed debt out there.
Yeah, indeed that's true. And we will look at some of these things from time to time, yes.
Right. But are there specific factors that have to happen before this becomes more attractive, or how does one gauge when becomes a better time for this category?
Well, I think in terms of maybe some of the more complicated structural stuff, we'll probably never get there.
Right.
We just probably don't have the internal expertise, and it's very hard to analyze, and it's very legalistic. And we don't have a historical presence in that market.
Right.
And so I don't see why we need to be there unless somebody presents us an opportunity that seems perfectly clear to us, where we just can't see how we're going to lose. And whereas we've talked to a number of dealers about showing us opportunities like that, so far we haven't yet seen one.
Right. And you mentioned Europe in the context of distressed debt, but I think you're becoming more active in Europe more generally, and you opened an office there. Was it in March or?
Yeah, around then.
Right.
That's about right.
Are there any sort of experiences in terms of being active in Europe versus the US that turn out to be different than you expected, or what are some of your thoughts about being active in the European markets?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit too early to judge in terms of the output of having a presence. We've been investing in Europe for a number of years, but we've just been doing it outside of out from New York, and we just thought that by being there, it might be easier for us to visit people, and when they come through London instead of New York, we'll have an opportunity to learn more and stay more on top of certain things.
Right. And is the European market also one where you could potentially take both short and long positions on companies, or is it more of a sort of long type investment, or is that? Yeah,
no, we would expect to be long and short players in Europe. Historically, it's been mostly long. We've been better positioned to identify long opportunities there, and hopefully we'll balance that out over time.
Right, great. Well, thank you very much, David.
Sure.